welcome to Healing with Marcus. I am Shaman Marcus, and this is my station. And if you feel like this resonates with you, please feel free to like and subscribe and share these videos if you want more people to feel the feelings that come out of these videos. Now, I hope you're doing wonderful. Hope you're doing well. Today's theme is the house. The house with many rooms. There is a biblical saying that it goes, my father's house have many rooms. And when you look into, this is what I'd like for you to envision for yourself right now. Envision a house, maybe just the front of it, right? With a bunch of rooms stacked together, and you just see the doors and the rooms, right? Almost like a theater house or something like that. But you see all these doors. Every door has a label on it. The label, something like one label says love, one says meditation, one says anger, hatred, negativity, sadness, self-pity, pornography, sexuality, drugs, alcohol, jealousy, happiness, joy, allowance, acceptance. So, we look at all these rooms. There's a lot of them. You look at all the rooms, and you start to look at yourself in your life. And you look at what room have you spent the most time in? What room have you been walking mostly to? What part of the house is the carpet mostly downtrodden? Where can we find almost a path in the wooden floor leading up to the door because you spend so much time in that particular room? Do you do a lot of drugs? Do you drink a lot of alcohol? Do you spend a lot of time in negativity and anger, in sadness, in grief, in self-pity? Where do you spend your time? Where do you feed? What room do you feed the most in? Food room, pornography room, alcohol room. Where do you go to escape your feelings? What do you do to not feel what's going on inside of you? Sometimes we feel like we're going to break if we feel it. The real healing, which is, of course, through the room of meditation and love. When you come into those rooms, especially if you can anchor into love, if you can anchor into the feeling of love in your heart, and you spend more time in that space, in the frequency of love in your body, because what these rooms represent is or are the frequencies that are activated in your body. These frequencies come and go on different levels all the time. Some days will be more angry. Some days will be more sad. Some days will be more happy. Some days will be more grateful and joyful. And we can sit in love and we can sit in meditation. The real test, the real test here is how deep can you sit in your meditation? How can you face the feelings that you don't want to face? Because we do have a choice. But the choice isn't necessarily how many drinks we're going to have when we go into the alcohol room, how much food we're going to eat when we go into the food room, or how much sex we're going to have if we go to the pornography room. It's that we go to the room. So before we start walking, we have a choice. Once you're in the room, we may not have that many choices. But before we walk into the room, we have a choice. And that's where you can, if you sit in love in your heart, if you sit in acceptance, in meditation, in love, you begin to feel when you're not sitting in love anymore. You can sense and feel when you're off track. When you go, oh, I'm angry now, that mofo right there, or I'm jealous of that person right there, or I'm jealous of my girlfriend, boyfriend doing this or that, my partner doing this or that. When we come, and then we can realize that, I'm not sitting in love right now. I'm sitting in the fear room, right? As soon as we get jealous or angry or something, usually fear has grabbed our hearts, right? There's a grip of fear around your heart. And when you feel into that, you're like, Oh, I'm not sitting in love right now. I'm actually sitting in fear and anger right now. Or I'm sitting in desperation. Or I'm sitting in self pity. Or I'm sitting in negativity. Even the rooms that have, the word science and logic and intellect on them. Those rooms are just rooms. They're not bad in themselves. But if we spend all our time there and not in the room of love, we go into negativity, we go into a tailspin, we go into thinking that human beings are simply matter, that there's nothing else going on in our world, which of course is kind of a joke. For anybody to not believe that there's more going on in our world than what we can see right now is almost getting a little ridiculous. Because if we see that Wi-Fi is all around us at all the time, that there are microwave radiation going on all the time around us, every single day, at any given moment. TV signals, radio signals, telephone signals, computer stuff, like everything goes through the ether, right? For us to think that we invented that, for us to think that there was no other energy going on before that, is the height of hubris, right? The height of arrogance and ignorance, right? So, anyway, that's a side point. Now, I almost went into the room of negativity right there, didn't I? Right? So when I move out of that room, and I come back into the room of love, and in meditation, we find stillness. We find ourselves. We find our deeper sense of self, and we find a space where we don't have to be sidetracked all the time, where we don't have to go into, I can't stand that person, I can't stand this, where we can sit in our deeper space. And the more we sit in the deeper space, the stronger those rooms get, the stronger your anchoring into those rooms is, right? So the stronger you sit in a room, the more it feeds it. You feed the space right there. So when you go into the food room or the sex room or the pornography room, you feed that room. And often when we go into those rooms, we don't sit in love. We don't sit in ourselves. So coming back home, coming into the self-love room, coming into you, is feeding love in your heart. And the more you strengthen your connection to love in your heart, the more you change your frequencies, the more you change the vibration around you, and the more you raise your inner vibration, the more you attract new circumstances into your life. And the more you become a person that both you would want to be around and others. So you can start to be like, oh my God, I feel good about life right now. I feel love. I feel good. So we have a choice of what room we enter. All right, everyone. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Namaste and aho.